I like this picture because it does give us a handful of things to look for when we're looking for red flags when it comes to bolts. Now, I want to preface this by saying, like, if this is all that's there, you're still going to clip it. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be paying attention for red flags. First, we have incongruent materials. In other words, we have a stainless steel hanger and a galvanized steel bolt. What that does is, even though the hanger is stainless steel, it does create rust in the hanger, which can then, of course, weaken the hanger. Second, this is a wedge bolt with a lot of threads showing above the nut. When you see that, it's an indication that the sleeve on the bolt didn't engage very quickly when it was being tightened. This often happens with bolt holes that were hand drilled, and when they're pounding the drill and their hand is kind of shaking a little bit over many hits, the hole isn't exactly perfect. Versus a hammer drill, the holes tend to be better. The result is when a wedge bolt goes in and they're cranking down the nut, sometimes that sleeve that goes over the threads to make it an expansion bolt doesn't engage very quickly. And so the bolt starts to come out of the rock, and then you can see some of the threads. Of course, I want to reiterate, like, if you can see threads, that means that the whole bolt isn't in the rock. And that also means that maybe it's weaker. We actually don't know how long this bolt is. And so what does that mean for you from a safety perspective? And finally, the fact that this is galvanized steel does lead me to believe that it's probably a hardware store bolt and probably costs like 25 cents versus like $5 or $4 or whatever a fixate bolt costs these days. Does that mean it's weaker? Not necessarily. There hasn't been strong evidence of accidents happening because of hardware store bolts. But it does lead you to believe that maybe the person who placed the bolt didn't know what they were doing. So all these are red flags. Again, it doesn't mean don't clip the bolt, but it is warning signs that maybe the bolt isn't as strong as you'd like it to be.